Sadhguru, here.
Ooh. How did you grab the microphone?
Yeah. I have a question. My previous generation, my fathers are farmers, but they made me an engineer because they couldn't able to survive from their land. So the complete generation of my 5 fathers has converted to engineers or some other works.
Oh.
So entire farming is vanished there. I am interested to do farming, but because of the survival problem, I came to an engineering. So how I have to overcome this process?
Okay. Anyway, we would like to have a well-studied engineer, not an engineer who's converted. I don't know what that means. How do you get converted to engineering? Anyway, I understand what you're saying. See, this is a major tragedy unfolding in the country. Out of 160 million hectares of arable land in this country, 104 million hectares of land, the soil is right now labeled as distressed. That means nearly 60% of our soil is moving towards becoming uncultivable in a matter of anywhere between 15 to 40 years' time. In 40 years' time, the fertile lands that you have seen will turn into uncultivable land, maximum 40 years' time, anywhere between now to then. How does this happen? If you want the soil to be rich, before we go into that, I want you to first understand, what is sitting here as you and me is just the soil that you walk upon, it's just a piece of the planet. If the soil is weak, the food becomes weak. The food is weak, our very genetics become weak. There's substantial studies about this. So why has the soil become weak? Why such a phenomena is happening in this country? The only way you can put back organic content into the soil is by the leaves of the trees and the animal waste. Trees are gone long time ago. Just to tell you to what extent. In the Ganga basin, which accounts for 25% of India's geography and 33% of India's agriculture, we have removed 92% of green cover in the last 50 years. 92%. What is our plan for this land? In Kaveri basin, which is some 83,000 square kilometers. Right now we're running a campaign called Kaveri Calling. All of you must be a part of it one way or the other. In Kaveri, in the last 50 years, we have removed 87% of the green cover. So no leaves, no trees, no leaves. Animals are all traveling abroad. How will you enrich the soil? The food that you're eating is just the soil. You ate it up. What did you put back? Nothing. By throwing chemicals, you think it'll happen? Pretentious agriculture is happening. If we don't change this, whatever other aspirations we have, everything will fail. Doesn't matter what business, industry, what you develop, we'll have serious issues. People think water is the issue, water is not the issue, soil is the issue. If soil is rich, there will be enough water. The reason why agriculture is suffering is, this is one aspect. The other reason is, why at the time of independence, over 92% of Indian population was in agriculture. If you look back and see, 250 years ago, we were the largest economy on the planet. We were the biggest exporters, 33% of the world's export came from India 250 years ago. So what were we exporting? Were we exporting rice? No. Were we exporting agricultural produce? No. What were we exporting? We were exporting largely spices, more than that, textiles. Andhra Pradesh, every district has a weave of its own. Yes? Textiles was the main thing. Between 1800 and 1860, when the English decided to destroy the textiles of this nation, systematically they went about destroying it. From 1800 to 1860, our exports came down by 96%. So that doesn't happen just like that. That was done as a systematic process. So when this destruction of industry happened, millions of people died in those 60 years, where one of the British Governor-Generals writes back saying, "The fields of India are bleached with the bones of the weavers." Millions. It is estimated over 3.5 million to 4 million people died in those 60 years out of starvation. The rest desperately went about doing some kind of subsistence agriculture. Subsistence agriculture means I have a piece of land, I will grow little rice, little dal, little this, little that, everything that I need for a family, I will scratch the land and grow. This sort of agriculture happened. This is why 92% or 92% were in agriculture. Today this number has come down to 65%, thanks to you, you became converted engineer. 65 to 70% are still in agriculture. What this means is, for 10 people to eat, we want 10 people to eat, but now 7 of them are cooking. You think this is a good use of people? 10 people want to eat, very efficient, 1 person can cook. Don't want 2 or 3 people can cook. 7 people cooking for 10 people is not a wise way to do things, but that's where we are right now. Still 7 people are cooking for 10 people. So, you and more people must become engineers, it is good, or whatever else they have to become. But at the same time, can you let the agriculture die? Because today, if you make a survey, we have made some surveys, not official surveys, but generally we've just asked around. If you ask around, how many farmers want their children to go back to farming? Less than 2%. This means in another 20-25 years when this generation passes, we will not know how to grow food. You may think the farmer looks illiterate, he's not dressed like you, he doesn't look like you, he looks like no good. But I'll do one thing for you. You are from the farming family. Those of you for 2 generations who lived in city, you have MBA, even if you have agricultural MSc, you come, I'll give you 10 acres, fertile land. 5 different crops, you grow it by yourself without taking local help. You will see you can't do it. Because this intrinsic knowledge that our farmer has, this is one of the most fantastic things that India has done is, of the many things, well, we are going to the moon, we've gone to Mangalyaan, all kinds of things, businesses have done great things, science has done many things, but the most fantastic thing is, without any science of any modern science, without any new technology, just with traditional knowledge, our farmers have fed 1 billion people. This is not a small thing. So this transition from farming to other things should not happen out of desperation, should happen as a good plan to do. Right now, one reason why farming is not succeeding is, soil is weak, so water is scarce. Another thing is, scale is too small to make it successful. The average land holding is 1 hectare, that means 2.25 acres per family is what we have. At this level of holding, whatever you do is going to be waste. Everybody is under loan, okay? Some 78% of Tamil Nadu's farmers are under debt. Because, I'll just tell you an example. A young farmer in our region, it's very fertile region. He has 3.5 acres. So I meet him and ask him, what are you doing for your water? What's your water source? He says he's put 9 bore wells. In 3.5 acres, he's put 9 bore wells. Because there are bore well companies which will come and promise, if you put it here, more water will come, if you put it there, more water will come. Everybody is hitting borewells and borewells. In 3.5 acres, maybe there is one or two sources or maybe there is no source of water. Because the scale is so small, everybody is putting a fence, everybody has a borewell, everybody has an electric connection. This is not going to work. We need the scale, otherwise it'll not work. Does it mean to say we have to take their land? No, for this we have worked out a system. I don't want to go into all the details in this, but this is what Rally for Rivers was about, how to integrate irrigation and marketing for the farmer so that his life can change. Now, one more big thing is, see, India, the latitudinal spread that you have from Kanyakumari to Himalayas, 12 months of the year you can crop. There are very few nations where you can grow crops 12 months of the year. From Kanyakumari to Himalayas, you can grow literally almost anything you want in the world. If we handle this land right, we can provide food for the entire world. It's possible to do that. And this is the only nation where 65 to 70% of the population knows how to do this magic of transforming mud into food. It is not a small thing. We could use that knowledge, we could use that capability, or we could make them destitute and come to cities and live in slums without any dignity, without any life to live, without any productivity, getting into crime. You become an engineer, I'm glad. Many farmers' children join crime or other kinds of things because they have no other option. So this needs to be addressed. So one of the things is, we have converted literally over 69,670 farmers in Tamil Nadu from regular farming to what is called as agroforestry. Their incomes have gone up 5 to 10 times in a matter of 8 to 10 years. This is what we are calling as the Kaveri calling for the Kaveri belt… basin area, because if you do this, we want to convert 1/3 of the Kaveri basin into agroforestry. If you do this, the 46% depletion that's happened in the river waters will come back. River will flow once again, farmers will be rich and well-to-do, all this debt that is there in the banks will not happen because farmer will be rich by his own resource. This has to be done in a planned way, we must execute this. Otherwise, this nation is sitting on too many problems and too many possibilities also. But to convert problems into possibilities, every citizen has to stand up and do what needs to be done.